Well, I did. I guess I didn't try her recipe. But I do. I cook it for a long time. I did.
But she was complimenting herself at the same time she was complimenting you.
That was her way of doing things, yes. She couldn't give a whole total compliment without giving herself a pat on the back. That very existence, which, you know, is a trademark. It's almost good enough, at least, to form soft peaks, not quite. See it. Mavens tell you when you're separating eggs that you get a little bit of yolk in it, you have to throw it away. But I've never quite believed that, and I managed to get it on the film. I don't see it, well, when it sears yolk. It doesn't seem to affect it as much as the Mavens say. Yeah, we got soft peaks. Okay, run it all off there. And let me make sure that this stuff is all lumped. Okay, I might add a drop or two of matzo to this. I guess it'll be okay. It's a little soft. I'm going to sprinkle just a bit more matzo in it, because it seems slightly liquidy, which may be from the liquid nature of the fat. And a little more matzo. And that's not measured out, it's just poured in, and that you have to judge the consistency of it. If it's too wet, then they fall apart. They don't float. We're going to refrigerate it, and that helps to solidify it a little bit.
Well, I'm sure the longer it sits, the longer the matzo absorbs the liquid.
Yeah, and it's been sitting for this couple of minutes absorbing, theoretically, while I'm whisking. And, you know, I can tell from the look of it that it's slightly... You know, that's the one thing about following the recipe exactly. Sometimes it's not quite... and you have to judge, but that's long experience will tell you these things. But I think that the reason it's loose is because I'm not using solid fat, I use liquid fat. Sometimes even after it's been refrigerated, when I take it out, it looks a little softish. I'll throw in a little bit more matzo meal, but it's better to do it at this point if you catch it. Okay, maybe just a tad more there.
How would you describe the way it feels when you're... How should it feel?
Oh, it should have a little resistance to it when you mix it. Yeah, there it is. Okay, I could tell from the look of it that it wasn't quite right because there seemed to be a little liquid around the edges. But once it's right, there's some resistance when you mix it. It's like oatmeal. You know, the consistency is sort of that of a good stiff oatmeal. Okay, all the lumps are out, and now we will fold the whites in. Just dump the whites on the top. Okay, I'm going to do this with a plastic spatula. Gosh, I'm we need tools here. Okay, plastic spatula is good for folding rather than a metal spoon. Plus it folds it in nicely, and the idea is to fold, not mix, just to slowly incorporate the whites into the matzo meal mixture. Slowly, we're not in a rush. Do this nicely. I'm going to actually put it back into that bowl when it's done because I don't have a lot of room in the refrigerator. A smaller bowl works better.
What else are you making for the Seder tonight?
Well, as soon as I'm finished with this little jobby here, I'm going to put a turkey in the oven.
But it's an itty-bitty turkey, right?
Well, it's only, yeah, it's 12 pounds or less, which is a little turkey. It's a small turkey. And I have brisket, which is sitting on the stove at this very moment, having been oven cooked for about 2.5 hours. And then I put it on the top of the stove, add some more onions and a little kosher wine to it. And that gives it a nice flavor, which everybody likes. And I also have a couple of lamb shanks, which I really cook the lamb shanks in order to have the shank bone for the Seder plate. But anybody who wants lamb shanks, welcome to it.
I think your brother especially likes those, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. And so that's all been cooked and will be reheated at the time of the Seder. We have, for appetizers, beforehand, we have hummus and chopped liver and some vegetarian chopped liver, which I made a couple of days ago, so it marinates itself nicely. Okay, this is nicely incorporated now.
And how would you describe this texture?
Well, this is looser than the, than the texture of but it tightens up as it chills. The recipe calls for chilling it for half an hour, but I like longer if I can do it. And then we're going to videotape the actual later.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So when I actually get around to it, you'll see the difference in the consistency when I take it out of the fridge. It becomes again more oatmeal-like. But I'm going to. Oh, yeah.
No, it's okay.
Okay. Yeah, I'm pouring it into the smaller bowl because it needs the bigger bowl in order to mix it up properly, but we only need a small bowl full for the refrigerator. These matzo balls will be eaten instantly. There will not be any left in the soup. There will be soup left over, but not matzo balls. Anyway. Okay.
There are 10 people coming tonight?
There were 10 people, but I think there were really only 7 eaters.
Well, but Samantha, even though she's not much of an eeter of other things, she'll have 3 or 4 matzo balls.
Yes, right. That will fill her up. She won't want anything else. So.
And you also made a carrot pudding and a vegetable pudding.
Yes, we have carrot pudding and vegetable pudding, which recipes are in this if we want to videotape them too. Well, I guess it's not necessary.
No.
Those are standard recipes, which I do every year. The vegetable is a vegetable medley of lots of different vegetables.
Although you forgot the parsnips.
Well, I forgot the parsnips this year, but the soup benefited because I had extra parsnips for the soup. Okay. Okay. Now, that's pretty, whoops, we got a little left over here. We don't lose any.
Okay, well, we will return in a few hours to watch the actual molding of the knedlach.
The souping of the knedlach. Okay, just making sure I get all this egg white that is on the edge of the bowl incorporated properly. Wipe off the edge of the bowl and put its lid on it and put it in the fridge until later.
Okay.
And we'll see the difference in the consistency. And it's only 3 o'clock. Maybe I have time to check my email.
Okay.
Being a modern ballabuster, as the term is, you know. That was Grandma said, who really didn't appreciate anybody being a ballabuster. You know. She thought I was one, and it was not, you know, never meant in an appreciative manner. And I started to teach. Oh, you still
Sure, as long as you're as long as you're talking.
Yeah, right. You know, when I began to teach special ed, she sneered at that, you know, because it wasn't intellectual enough for her. The fact that I had, you know, an English major, teaching English beforehand to make a dent, you know. Stupid people teach special ed.
Okay, we will return later.
Okay, in the fridge for you. Where in the fridge for you, though? Take these out. There.
Okay.
Ice cubes are very helpful. Okay.
I'm gonna be quiet.
No, you're.
All right, no. I'm trying to video, and I'm talking into the video. Okay. Now, the best way to do this is to get your hands very cold with the ice cube. You use a spoon, but hands help a lot because you can spoon it out. Woo! Boy, there's too much. They're going to roll there. Okay. And then we just take them very lightly. Don't roll them much. Okay. As little as possible.
Personally, I think that's the secret to the floaters is that
Right, is the
you don't
handling
handle
as
them.
little
You
as
don't
possible.
you don't
And
mash them
to-
down.
To keep your hand very cold, and I barely roll it, barely. I think that the separated egg helps too. You can use that even in a mix, is to separate the eggs. They're floating already. Okay. Good ones. Good ones.
How many hits do you think she'll get?
Telling Jim before the first time I did this, I made the Seder was for Richard's family, and they were totally unappreciative for these wonderful floating matzo balls. They didn't care. So what? They floated. The soup, by the way, I made this time, and I think I've done this before. I make the soup in 2 pots. 1 chicken in each pot.
There's supposed to be 2 chickens in every pot?
Yeah.
That's like a new deal.
1 chicken.
No, it was-
Well, actually, there have been times where only, you know, like not that many people this time. But when I've had the really big crowds, I have made 3 chickens worth of soup. That's a lot of soup. That's 1 huge pot and 1 lesser pot.
You need a hand? Can I help you? Want
I
to
was
head up?
going to turn that up just, you know, not even to 2, just a tad.
Mom.
Are you going to give this video to your mother and tell her how to make matzo
No,
balls?
I would not dare.
No, I don't think so.
In my house, I don't mean to interrupt the video, in my house, hard matzo balls were a quality. That was a sought after quality.
Hard?
Yep, they